Hi everybody, welcome to Hilo Live. I got a lot of messages saying that people were joining, they were gonna watch the replay because they weren't able to make it tonight, which I know happens. So we're just gonna jump right into it and start the lesson. So this will be recorded for you, but there's probably not going to be a Q&A at the end unless some people join late, which is totally fine. So we'll see how it goes. So let's get started. Today's lesson is called Advanced Prospecting, and this is not me saying that I know how to do your job better than you. This is me just trying to help you take a lot of the things that you're probably already doing and figure out how to really leverage the features that we've built into Hilo to help you save time and really get some more in-depth prospecting going on. So we're going to start off, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to run through it here. Okay, so let me just share my screen with you. All right, here we go. So we're going to start off by just selecting a contact, because what I want to do is I'm going to really get into how we categorize contacts and get a little bit more in depth there. So there's obviously some very typical ways to categorize people. There's your group, which is like your inner circle, referral, acquaintance, chicken list, we all know that one. And there's a contact type, which I don't really want you to spend a whole lot of time on here. I know that a lot of you have imported like 2,000 Facebook contacts, and Facebook doesn't give you much. They give you a first name and a last name, and then, good luck from there. So your time is precious when you're trying to get, information that really means something in here. So this isn't really where I want you to spend your time, because most likely I think everybody's a consultant prospect until they tell you otherwise. So unless they said, absolutely not, I don't want to join you in business, then they become a product prospect, or people. You do want to classify your team members and your current clients, your current product clients. But outside of that, to spend a lot of time going through whether they belong in a PC or a consultant prospect is not a great use of your time. I do think that you should categorize the lead temperature, so the cold, warm, and hot. This has some bearing on the pipeline right now, so it makes it very easy. They're color-coded on the pipeline so that you can take advantage of when you categorize someone as a hot lead, that you can see them right away. Some of the advanced features, the usability that I talked about in last week's Hilo Live, the reorganization that we're going through on the site to make it more robust, a little more automated, and definitely more user-friendly. The lead temperature will have some more features behind it. So the work that you put in now to categorize people as cold, warm, or hot will pay some dividends very, very shortly, in just a couple of weeks. The other area where I think you should spend some time categorizing is on the pipeline. So where are these people sitting in your sales funnel? We'll get into the pipeline a little bit later. That'll be the next thing that I move on to. But here, just to know that this is where you can change that. We'll also show you where you can drag them on the pipeline in just a minute. But really where I want to spend a lot of the time is this categorization in tags and custom fields. And what I love about tags is, and we're specifically going to talk about tags. What I love about tags is you can have an unlimited amount of them for a contact. So you can really take all of the aspects of a person, of a prospect, and put them into these tags, and then you can search and filter by them later. So they're easy to add. You just type in however you want to categorize somebody. You can, if they're a reporter, I don't know, maybe you know a lot of reporters, you add the tag and it just gets added right there. So it's super easy. And then you can delete them just by clicking this X. So if you decide that that's not really a way that you want to categorize somebody, just get rid of it. So that's how you add them and delete them. They're fully customizable. Anything you type in here and click add will go in. So what I like about that is we're not prescribing how you categorize people. But one thing that I do kind of want to go into a little bit is just how you think about the categories that you're setting up. It's how you would think to reach out to people. So that's the only advice that I would give you in using this area. And I'm sure you're doing this now with your lists, but this is where I would tell you this is where I would tell you where to put that information. So we didn't want to tell you that these are the buckets that you have to follow. The people that you know are different, and the people and the way that you look at them and the way that you see them as prospects are going to be different from consultant to consultant. So we didn't want to get too granular there and too prescriptive. So there's a fully customizable field here for you. But the ways that I can suggest looking at these categories are bucketing people by occupation. So if you have a fitness product or something like that, you might have fitness instructors, or maybe just think fitness instructors know a lot of people and maybe need some extra money and might be interested in your business. Real estate brokers, commission workers might be a way that you want to categorize people. Lawyers, and we're going to use that in an example in just a little bit, just a little while. How do you know them? How do you know these people? Did you meet them on an airplane? Did you meet me? However you feel you'd be reaching out to people and they naturally kind of group together, that would be how I would suggest creating a tag. A life event, maybe they're a new mom, they're pregnant, they recently graduated college, they're in college, maybe they just got laid off, which is unfortunate. That would be a way that you could possibly categorize people. Why do you want to be in business with them? Are they a super connector? Are they just incredibly friendly and kind of infectious with the way that they interact with people? Those people, you might be thinking about them similarly because they share these similar attributes. So that's a good way to bucket people. Regional. So whether it's an East Coast person, I'm from the East Coast originally, and I live in California now. I tend to get along really, really well. Unintentionally, it just happens with East Coast transplants. If I meet people here and I hit it off with them instantly, I ask them where they're from. 9 times out of 10, they're from like the tri-state area. I grew up in New York, and it's like, oh, Pennsylvania, that makes sense. And then another way to think about it is an objection reason. Is it someone in your follow-up chain, so somebody that you have reached out to, but they gave you a specific objection? They don't have enough time. They don't have enough money. Like whatever it is, and you weren't able to crack through it, maybe there's a common thread there. So the whole idea is that categorizing these now is going to save you time and make your reach outs and follow-ups more effective. So let me just give you kind of an example here. We're just going to go back to the contact list page. So say I wanted to reach out to those lawyers that I put together before. So I can go here to the filters menu. Now this is how I can take that information that I use to categorize and then really leverage it. So we can filter by all sorts of things. You could say if you only wanted to see hot, warm leads, you could add those, and you can add more than one. But we're going to do tags here, but there's also there's city, there's state, there's all sorts of things. So you can really start cutting your data and thinking about how you reach out to people differently. So I'm in the mood to reach out to lawyers. Maybe I'm just in that mood, or I've met a lot of lawyers lately and I've added them to my list. So I want to take the time now to say, like, you know what, I'm going to focus on these people. And the reason we'll do that is if I make this my priority, that I'm reaching out to lawyers, I can do my research on them. I can go through my company website and find some really great success stories of lawyers who then joined my company and maybe were able to give up their law practice. Also, if I'm reaching out, I have 10 lawyers here, 10 people that I've tagged as lawyers. I'm probably going to get really good at the lawyer conversation. They might have the same sort of objections that they don't have enough time, they're too busy, whatever it is. There's a good chance that there might be some common threads in here. So from the first conversation, I might start off where I'm prepared and it goes well, but by the 10th conversation, there's a good chance that I'm going to be kind of an expert at talking to lawyers about my business. And then is there somebody in your upline that might be a great 3-way call option for lawyers or for people in this professional kind of bucket? So that's a way that I would go about it. And then you can either send them a bulk email. So maybe you created a script and it's kind of got the start of of your reach out for them. You know, this is sort of your lawyer, your professional reach out, or where you have the entire email together, or you can reach out, but you can start it off by just selecting their email address. You can select your script from your menu and pop it down here. So we'll just use this one as an example. You copy that down to them. So you can fill in these areas where you've left blanks to put in specific things about when you would reach out to them or when you're free. And then you can put something really personal. So if I'm reaching out to this particular person, I can put something personal here, but I've got the body of my email put together already. It's going to save me a ton of time, and I can just put something personal in there about the last time I spoke with her, the last time we saw each other, or the fact that maybe we haven't seen each other in a really long time. So that's just a way that you can save time doing this. Or if you had a script that was generic enough that you could send it to all of them, you could click this box here, click bulk email, and then you can pop that script in the bottom, add a subject to it, and send it off, and you've done it in like a minute. So that's just another way to save time, but it's still personal enough where you can talk about their law practice, you can talk about something general enough and specific enough that they feel like you really reached out to them. That's a personal choice, though, if you choose to go that route. Yeah, so this just sort of creates a new path for you on how to look at your reach outs and give it a little bit more dimension. The next thing that I want to, kind of in that vein of looking at things from a different perspective, we're going to take a look at the pipeline here really quickly. So the pipeline is just a visual cue for reaching out. So where are people sitting in your pipeline? So we're looking at these in different ways, right? So there's lots of different ways of reaching out. There's just looking at your list and saying, yeah, I'm going to reach out to these people. I'm just picking names off of it. These maybe are the people I'm comfortable with. This is how I think that they'd be great for this, and I already know how I want to reach out to them. So that's obviously easy, low-hanging fruit, or just picking people off. Or we have our auto selections, of course, using our dashboard feature. But we also have the groupings that we just talked about tagging people in an overall group, and then giving it a little bit more thought and reaching out. But then those 10 people or 20 people that you've tagged, you can get through them a lot easier, and the conversations become a lot easier and more free-flowing. And then we have this reaching out based on where they're sitting in your funnel. So I was talking to somebody about this actually this morning, and then the other night when I was on a call with another user. I love the pipeline because it does give you a little bit more flexibility. It's sort of looking at the business just from a different angle. So not looking at it as a list and not necessarily looking at it from those groups. Although you can do that. You can filter up here, and you can filter just the way that I was showing you before. You can still find that same lawyer group and have it come up here, and those people are still sitting here. So all of that, you can still cut the data that way, and you can see those people, but there's another way of looking at them here, and we'll get back to the filters in just a second. But this is where people are sitting. So this is where they are in the conversation with you, this overall conversation about, are they interested in the business? Are they interested in products? Or are they interested in being maybe a referral person for you? And one thing that I like about this is it gives you kind of a way to tackle your month. We all have limited time, so getting the most out of it is definitely in everyone's best interest. So this not contacted column, I love looking at this as like the beginning of the month. So why not front load your month with a lot of new reach outs, because they're going to take more time traditionally to get all the way over to this side of the pipeline. And that's what we're trying to do, get everyone from here over into this column right here. So we front load the month with that, and then you're consolidating your effort where you're kind of in that new reach out mode, rather than shifting from I'll do a new reach out, then I'll do a follow-up, and then I'll do some research. It's just scientifically, it's proven that our brains don't work that well when we do things that way. We should focus on things, and we get a lot more out of it. Then it just sort of becomes a repetitive kind of activity, as opposed to being like, now I have to shift gears, figure out what I'm going to say, what script was that, stick with the new reach out. So get a lot of new reach outs done over here, and you can just click down the list. If you want to load your pipeline right from this pipeline, load your dashboard rather, your new reach outs from the pipeline page, you can just click down these little buttons here. The R's are for new reach outs and the F's are for follow-ups. And when you click this R, that person will now be added to your dashboards here. And I'll take the second to go over here since I'm not keeping anyone waiting. So now she's been moved over to this new reach out area, and she's right here. So when I log in and I'm ready to do the reach outs, I can just click off her name, just get to reaching out to her. You can also just choose to open up her information from this page. To just open it up here, have the modal come up. Maybe you want to make a phone call to her if you have your phone number, if you have her phone number, or you want to reach out to her via email, you can do that right from here. Or if you want to see all of the information for her, you can view her contact card and be brought to all of that, all that detailed information for here. So you can go to your email section and send her an email. You can add her to a campaign, which we'll get to in next week's video. But maybe, so that's another way to do it. So that's how you would add them. Sorry. Here we go. So that's how I look at the beginning of the month. And then that will also take you into the middle of the month where you're taking this follow-up area will start to really fill. You'll see people moving from here over through these different areas of your pipeline. And then this group, you can start looking at this differently too. You're following up with people, so you can cut by those groups and you can say, like, who do I have sitting in my funnel? Because these are, you know, if you're getting into these people, so everybody in this all info sent area, if you've sent them everything, you're sitting on a pretty hot lead. They said that they were interested in more information. You sent it to them, but for some reason you didn't follow up with them. That's definitely, you really don't want you want this column pretty much empty all the time unless they're in there for like a day until you're ready to reach out to them again. So this is definitely low-hanging fruit. Like, I need to find out what they thought of what I sent them. And this is another one that's kind of low-hanging fruit. What's up with these people? These are kind of your fence sitters. So the other thing that I like to do is I like to do this three-way call thing. We do have a three-way call yes or no feature. So I do recommend that you use that. And we also allow you to add the attendees for your three-way call. So it's just another way that if you wanted to track who did the three-way call with you, if you use different people, you'd be able to see, maybe you're finding out that all of these people that sign on are kind of happening with the same three-way caller. So that can be good information for you. So I just said three-way call no. So these are all the people in my follow-ups that I haven't had a three-way call with anyone in my upline. And that's kind of, you know, kind of bad. Like that's a key tool to moving people into the closed sign or helping them make a decision basically. So with these people, I'm looking at them then and I'm saying, okay, well, that's a great reason to reach out to them. And then I can go back and I can filter again where I might take a look and see if anyone has a tag. Maybe they're in one of my buckets that I was looking at earlier. So two of them are. So these two people are lawyers who I have not had a three-way call with that are sitting in these needs follow-up areas. So that's a way to reach out to them. Hey, what did you think of that information that I sent you? You know, I actually thought that this person in my upline would be a great person to give you another perspective on the business. Do you have time? XYZ day, and at this time I'm available. Let me know. That's a thoughtful reach out, and it's a reason to follow up with somebody rather than just being like, hey, I just wanted to see how things were going. Doesn't mean you can't reach out that way, but we're giving you a quick way to cut through and see where you're sitting with these people, what you have and what you have not done with them. Yeah, and that is all I had prepared. So that's our 15 minutes. And I wanted to make sure that I keep these quick and not waste anyone's time. Since we don't have a Q&A today, I'm always available via email. My email address is nicole@hiloipa.com. Feel free to reach out to me. I really do get back to you and I care very much about what you think and if you have suggestions on the site. And we have some really exciting things on the books for Hilo coming up in the next few weeks. Just to give you a very quick overview of how these things work, when we have new additions to the site and fixes, we have releases. So we're planning a release at the end of the week, most likely this weekend. An email will go out to let you know that it happened and what you can expect as fun new toys to play with when it's over. I will keep you in suspense beyond that. In the next few weeks, we will have kind of a reworking of the dashboard with some automation and definitely making things more user-friendly for the site. So look forward to that. And next week's call, you'll all be receiving an email. Well, if you're watching this, then you got the email and you'll know where we have a new schedule. I'll send out an email with a new schedule where you can access the Hilo Live schedule so you can always see what's coming up, what the topic is, and what day and what time we are having the meeting. All right, well, everybody, have a wonderful day or evening whenever you're watching this, and we'll talk soon. Bye.